Let's jump into some industry shit. Okay, so we just got word that Mahershala Ali will be producing as well as starring in a film called Swan Song. Two-time Oscar winner Mahershala Ali is producing and starring in the genre-bending drama feature Swan Song for Apple TV Plus, with production starting in the spring. The film will be produced by Apple and Anonymous Content. And Anonymous Content, if I'm not mistaken, is Sam Esmail, who was behind Mr. Robot. That's his production company. So I'll definitely be checking for this because I just love everything that Sam Esmail does. Swan Song will be directed by Academy Award winner Benjamin Cleary, who also wrote the project. Cleary won the Oscar in the live action short category for 2016's Stutter, which I actually did watch that. And I actually watched it as a part of, I was like researching something else, and I was watching something on YouTube, and they were kind of deconstructing the actual short film, and it was actually pretty good. This Stutter short. But apparently he won an Oscar for it. The film is set in the near future and explores how far someone will go and how much they'll sacrifice to make a happier life for the people they love.
So here's why this like stood out to me, right? So everyone's familiar, and every time I say his name, I feel like I'm saying it wrong. But isn't it Mahershala Ali?
I don't know.
I say Mahershala, but I believe it's actually Mahershala.
Well, I think you're pronouncing it how it looks.
Yeah,
I'm not entirely certain.
But I don't think it's Mahershala. I think it's like Mahershala.
Right. I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway,
hey, sometimes you just gotta admit I don't know.
So here's a guy who, just phenomenal momentum, and not even really just momentum. He's got the work behind it to back it up. So we saw him in Green Book. We saw him in Moonlight, right? And he's taken on many other great projects since. We know that he has recently been cast as Blade in the upcoming Blade movie. I think Apple TV did something very strategic here. They picked someone who has the talent to, create great content from, like, obviously we know he can deliver on screen, right?
Yeah.
He's been a part of, like, producing some other, like, really great projects as well. Mm-hmm. Netflix, they tapped Ava DuVernay, right? They tapped Adam Sandler, and they're not only bringing in great directors and producers, they're also bringing in like actors who can both sell a project in front of the camera and then also do some of the creative work behind the camera. I think this is a very smart strategic move for Apple from a business perspective. And I do think, like, this Swan Song, just from, the reading that we've done about it, sounds like a really interesting project.
Yeah. I think that's so. And weirdly enough, we're actually going to talk about this a little later with sort of our spotlight that we're doing. But I think Apple is going the way of a certain production company that does very sort of like just different shit. Like they're not just into just doing the cookie cutter, like this fits in any box and, it's just your standard fare of like big blockbuster shit. And I know I think they know they can't like live in that space if they're going to like carve, because Disney is the world fucking eater for all of that big summer blockbuster shit. So you can't really compete with them on that level.
Yeah.
They've got everything. They've got Marvel, they've got Star Wars, they've got animated shit locked down. Like you're not really going to catch that lane with them.
And Netflix owns like the comedy, the documentary, the docu.
Well, really enough, I don't think. I mean, they do, right? They do have like a lot of comedies, especially like stand-up specials. But I don't think Netflix, as far as like feature films go, I don't think they have like a niche. I don't think they have like a specific lane that they drive in.
Yeah,
they'll kind of take,
because that's still building, right?
Or that I think that's kind of their model, right? Like they're not. I don't think they're necessarily worried about like going after a specific genre or going after a specific like niche of like weird quirky films. I just think that they go after shit that they know on some level business wise is going to work for them.
Netflix is looking at like the return on the investment. They're not tied to like a genre.
But
or
Apple
a
doesn't give a
audience.
shit. Apple has more money than anybody can even count. so they don't need to worry
just
about
in
that.
case anyone doesn't realize how much money Apple has, Apple can buy both Netflix and Disney today if they wanted to, and pay in cash.
Yeah.
Not like a cash stock split. Apple can buy them both in cash.
Yeah.
And just say, we're just gonna acquire all of your shit and not try and compete with you.
Yeah. So right now, I believe Apple is valued at $1.3 trillion.
Yeah, weren't they the first company in history to reach $1 trillion valuation?
I believe so.
Yeah,
Let me read right here. It became the world's first company to record a market capitalization of $1 trillion and subsequently passed a $1.3 trillion threshold in December 2019. Holy fuck! They can, yeah, that's a stupid amount of.
Who is gonna tell you no if you're like the CEO of this company? You can shift.
What are we talking about? Are we talking about no?
not that kind of.
Wait, hold on. What kind of conversation are we having here? Let's dial this back a bit.
But like, if I want to eat at your restaurant, right?
Get a goddamn table right here.
4:00 in the morning. You're like, it's Monday. We don't open until 4 p.m. You're like,
goddamn table up.
I need. Listen, I need food ready in an hour. Call your staff. Do what the fuck you got to do. But I am hungry now, which means you're working.
I said I'm hungry now. What the fuck is this? All right. Anyways, so to get back to the movie Swan Song, it actually sounds pretty dope. I love how Mahershala Ali, the projects that he chooses, I feel like he's very selective in like where he goes with it. Yeah. One of the first movies that I ever saw him in was a very strange but I think great movie, The Place Beyond the Pines. That starred Ryan Gosling as well as what's his name? I'm forgetting everybody's name today.
So I don't.
Bradley Cooper.
And who else? Who's the female?
What's her name? Eva Mendes.
Yes. Who I think is highly underrated.
Yeah. No, I think she's correctly rated. I think people have a lot of respect for her.
I think after, what was that movie she did with Will Smith?
Hitch.
Mm-hmm. I think like that movie was kind of like a little bump in the road in terms of like her ability, because we haven't really seen much from her since. Like at least I don't remember much.
No, she's still working.
No, she's definitely still working.
Yeah.
Hitch just wasn't a good movie for Will or Ava.
You don't think that was a good movie? I thought it was a great movie. They're still showing it on TBS right now.
Yeah, it was a great rom-com, right? But like it wasn't like great. Let's see, when did Hitch come out? We're getting off.
It was 2005. Yeah, we really are. We got to move on from this. Actually, you know what? You might be slightly right because I think the last film that she actually did come out with was in 2014. So she actually probably hasn't had
Lost River.
Yeah, Lost River.
Yeah.
But anyways, whatever. This is not an indictment on. We're not trying to indict.
No, we're not attacking Eva Mendes.
No, not at all. But to get back to Mahershala Ali, again, and he chooses, the Moonlight role, which he was perfect for, and it worked out great. I think he won Best Supporting Actor.
Yeah.
In the film, and then now, unfortunately, he was in Green Book, which was not that great.
You like to shit on Green Book. I actually really enjoyed Green Book. Do I think it should have won Best Picture that year?
Maybe I'm leaning towards this way, although I'm kind of leaning towards I didn't really like it. It was okay. It was an okay movie, but it's like a knife in the side of the gut when it won Best Picture. It's like, come on, what are we doing?
Again, I don't know if it should have won Best Picture, but I thought it was a really good movie. His performance was fantastic.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think he chooses his projects very strategically. No one is like the other. And I don't anticipate Swan Song is going to be like what we've seen from him thus far.
Not at all. And another notable sort of role was True Detective. He was in season 3 of True Detective, which was a pretty good season. It was a comeback from season 2 because season 2 we took a bit of a dip. All right, let's move